clinical social workers with visible tattoos and the implications tattoos could have on the therapeutic relationship. Presenting the data, the research problem, the methodology, the analysis process, the findings, themes, and the conclusion. The research question: how does the stigma of tattoos within the field of social work impact the development of the therapeutic relationship between the clinical social worker and their clientele? The data analysis. An open and closed-ended survey was used to collect data from participants on their views regarding clinical social workers with tattoos and how visible ink could impact the therapeutic relationship. The analysis process. Data from the survey responses was initially analyzed utilizing the Atlas TI application, which generated 47 value codes and 23 quotations. The thematic analysis method was applied during secondary coding to categorize the 47 value codes into thematic groups. The findings. The following themes and underlying concepts emerged through coding, synthesizing, and analyzing the data: acceptance, perception, culture, professionalism, the therapeutic relationship implications, self-expression, and appropriateness. In the conclusion, the findings provide insight on how tattoos can both foster and deter the therapeutic relationship between clinical social workers with visible tattoos and their clientele. Data from the survey responses was initially analyzed utilizing the Atlas TI application, which generated 47 value codes and 23 quotations. This form of initial coding was the most appropriate since the questions were structured to elicit beliefs and attitudes participants held regarding clinical social workers with visible tattoos. The thematic analysis method was applied during secondary coding to categorize the 47 value codes into thematic groups and was guided by an ethnocentrism lens. This method of qualitative analysis seems to be the most applicable because it's used to learn about people's experiences, views, and opinions, which this survey was soliciting. The questions were also carefully examined to highlight possible themes in the text as certain responses resonated across survey questions. Several themes and underlying concepts emerged through coding, synthesizing, and analyzing the data and are summarized below. The AI coding summary revealed the theme of acceptance as having the greatest frequency with 22 codes categorized in this thematic group. Codes conveying acceptance ranged from indifference, tolerance, interest, acceptability, open-mindedness, resilience, to non-judgmental. 8 codes in the thematic category of perception revealed a pattern of tattoos having a negative connotation evident through words such as judgmental, subjectivity, stereotype, prejudice, bias, and discrimination. Applying the social identity theory with an ethnocentrism lens dictates that someone's culture or ethnicity serves as a frame of reference to judge other cultures, practices, behaviors, beliefs, and people. Ethnocentrism is rooted in our perception of the world around us and can contribute to stereotypes. Social identity theory posits that individuals belong to groups and the differences among those groups can result in conflict. There are implications for this theory in connection to individuals with tattoos and individuals without tattoos being divided into different groups. Conflict may result in the form of negative perceptions from individuals without tattoos. Understanding stigmas and stereotypes associated with tattoos are dependent on a person's perception and could influence the therapeutic relationship. Appropriateness was a concept stemming from the theme of perception. Some participants referred to what is appropriate or offensive regarding the content of a tattoo. The nature and content of a tattoo can contribute to perceptions. Neutral or artistic designs may be perceived differently than controversial symbols. 5 of the codes under the perception theme expose patterns of self-expression as a concept through texts such as personal expression, artistic expression, and admiration. Society's perceptions of tattoos has transformed from taboo to viewing tattoos as a form of art and self-expression. Social identity theory is pivotal in explaining how ethnocentrism develops and persists. Ethnocentrism is the tendency to look at the world primarily from the perspective of one's own culture. The theme of culture transpired from codes containing texts such as values, standards, and ethics with a frequency of 5. The quotations related to this thematic group identified perspectives that were rigid, traditional, and viewed tattoos as unprofessional as evidenced by the following quotation. tradition, values, and long-standing professional norms would argue tattoos are unprofessional. This quotation highlights ethnocentrism and how someone's perception can stereotype an individual with a tattoo as being unintelligent, criminal, irresponsible, and unprofessional. With more professionals in the workforce having tattoos, it is relevant to explore the attitudes people may have on clinical social workers with tattoos. The theme of professionalism consisted of the value code's competence, skills, and capabilities. The following quotations provided textual evidence where these value codes were extrapolated and categorized under professionalisms. Tattoos don't make you a good or bad person or worker. I care more if someone can do their job versus having or not having a tattoo. I'm indifferent. His or her professional demeanor and their customer service skills would be more important to me. The data indicates 50% of participants believe tattoos can have a positive influence on fostering the therapeutic relationship with words such as commonality, connection, opening up, and trust. Tattoos could be a potential talking point to increase rapport in a relationship or bring up deeper topics of meaning. Some of the quotations that supported this: some people may sense some connection. They allow a chance to open up more topics than would normally be addressed. On the other end of the spectrum, the data indicates 50% of participants believe tattoos can impact the therapeutic relationship negatively, as evidenced by text containing words such as uncomfortable, put off, and judgmental. In clinical settings, physical appearance can play a significant role in a client's first impression of a social worker's professional competence, compassion, performance, and quality of care. Certain images may have unintended interpreted meaning for different clients that could affect the therapeutic relationship without the clinical social worker realizing it. Some of the quotes that supported this: treating a patient is such an intimate process. The goal is to make patients feel comfortable. Certain patients may not feel comfortable seeing individuals with tattoos. Some people may be put off. The themes that arose from the data analysis provide useful information for the field of social work. The findings provide insight on how tattoos can both foster and deter the therapeutic relationship between clinical social workers with visible tattoos and their clientele. Limitations to consider with this study: it was conducted with a relatively small sample. The participants' ages all fell into the millennial generation, and studies have indicated younger generations are more accepting of tattoos. Including participants from different generations could provide additional insight on generational influence on the perception of tattoos. The participants were also not actual clients seeing a clinical social worker, but were asked to imagine themselves in that role. A larger sample targeted towards participants currently seeing a clinical social worker may yield a more representative sample for how potential clients perceive visible tattoos. Changing perceptions related to clinical social workers with visible tattoos could impact the therapeutic relationship and warrants future research.